Industry and education. Explain about the influence of industry on education. Explain about the influence of education on industry. Explain about the day release and sandwich courses. Explain about the relation between manpower and education. Describe the theories of occupational choice. It is a very well-known fact that education and industry are inversely associated. Although the inverse relation exists, both of them cannot stand alone completely without depending on each other. Thus, there has been a discussion about both the terms these days. Education and industry have influenced the structure and organization of several institutions. There is always a demand for the trained and skilled workers in any industry. All those who are well educated and trained are always in demand and accepted by an institution. However, it is surprising that industries always arrange several workshops and orientation programs for the new joiners and apprentices for training them in several skills required by the institution. Therefore, every individual is on the halfway stage of being a worker and a student. These days, most of the educational institutions have several courses where the students have an option to choose their own vocational subject that will help them occupation and the phase transition from school to work life. Thus, keeping in view the growing demand of practical experience, skills and knowledge, most of the educational organizations have introduced courses in their secondary education level to help the students educate them about the future work scope. It also aims to teach students to learn to cope up with the phase change from student life to a working life and peer pressure. The main objective of these courses is to make the students disciplined, punctual and understand the jargons that are closely related to the work environment and culture. All these courses will help them to understand the problems and challenges that crop up immediately after entering into the work culture. Apart from training them with the prerequisite skills essential for work culture, they help them to adjust well to the physical and social environment with ease. The influence of industry on education. The quality of work is mostly affected by the choice of subjects and courses at the school level. Apart from this, the basic education and the ways the subjects are taught are closely associated with the work culture. It is a well-known fact that the vocational bias is regarded as a means to prepare the individual for the job. Everywhere, the employees are selected by means of several examinations, interviews, etc. Apart from this, the marks obtained by the candidate in the secondary and senior secondary level and college level also affect the selection procedure. Vocational bias has been adopted as a direct or an indirect way in most of the schools. According to statistics, in Britain about 6% of the students at the secondary level attend technical schools. Apart from this, the rest 3/4 of the students at the modern or comprehensive schools at the secondary level range from 11 to 15 years of age. They are introduced to several vocational courses which captures their interest most of the times. This trend has been an increase in the recent times. Some reports say that the secondary schools in a place called Sheffield have introduced occasional educational courses for students. The students were not interested by this course but developed an interest in working with some local companies. According to the 1944 Education Act, which was formulated for all the schools at the secondary level, have assimilated educational policies for different schools. According to, the schools were classified as technical, grammar and modern schools. The curriculum for all these courses will vary, but not the pride and prestige. However, it is seen that there has been parity in these three kinds of schools. The grammar schools selected by the students prepare and educate themselves for the middle class jobs. It is still struggling to form an elite group in the society. As the schools strive towards bringing the skills among students to help them cope up with the work culture, some of the orthodox people find them deteriorating the education quality. They believe that with this course, the students will lack several other spheres in life when it comes to education. This is highly unethical. All the vocational education that reintroduced at school level aim in making the subjects more investing and the students get hands-on experience with whatever they learn. Apart from this, they understand the practical use and application of the knowledge they gain. Not only this, they are highly relevant and apt in everyday life as the demand in the industries has changed. Now the industries look for more practical oriented work rather than knowledge based. The difference in opinions will always exist. It is high time that people should educate themselves and change their opinions about the introduction of vocational courses at school level. There is a difference in the opinion because of value judgments and the debate on where there should be vocational education at school level or not. Technical education. Technical education was not given the required importance by industries in the beginning of the 19th century. The substandard stature of science and predominant technological studies has slowed down the development for provisions in technology and science. This in turn has repelled students to take interest in these courses. The 19th century saw an increase in the number of non-scientific commerce, but the industries neglected scientific instruction in recruiting employees and promotion policies. This is chiefly the reason behind a scientist's low status in the industry. A small percentage of technically skilled men have been positioned in higher management, leading to less sustenance for technical education. Technical education has seen some major changes post-war. Importance of using scientific methods in production was emphasized after consecutive economic crisis and high foreign competition in the overseas market. Newer industries like the electronics and chemical industries saw a rise in the implication of scientific methods. Sponsored research owed to the government organizations demonstrated the practical worth of technical education. Employers associations have many a times concerned themselves with the expansion of education and teaching for management, although they are non-teaching bodies. Technical education, being exceedingly diverse, is taught in a variety of educational institutions. There are lots of technical colleges, polytechnics, technical institutes, School of Art and Craft, colleges of further education, which play an essential role in the growth of technical education. Advanced technology has been introduced in numerous colleges in the past. These colleges offered courses of standards equivalent to university courses. Now they have transformed into some major universities. New credentials like the CNAA degrees have come into the picture. There are 4 tiers in which the technical colleges have been organized according to their work nature. Universities of advanced technology are at the top, and then come the regional colleges which do similar work but with less advanced technologies. Next come the area colleges, which do most of the craft and technician work. Local colleges, which are responsible for doing work at the low level, come in the last tier. Technical training is provided by both firms and educational bodies. Training pertaining to processes of the company is regarded as the liability of the company, but the dispute is that more universal education should be taught outside of the firm. Large firms have training schemes of their own, but the smaller firms, without their necessary manpower and amenities, have to take help of other external arrangements. Firms who are providing technical training to their employees also face problems like poaching skilled workers by other firms. Peter Venables, a psychologist, pronounced that educational institutions should not be based entirely on technical education. He believes that technical colleges should focus on the local communities rather than being an attachment to the industries. They should have various other kinds of training along with an assortment of educational activities. With the rise in the number of automated equipments in industries, technical training in particular has become important along with the general education. With the increasing complexity of latest industrial techniques, academic university education will bear added weight than any apprenticeship or on-job training. Working foremen should be replaced by more qualified people who stay at the base level of supervision for a short period. This will serve as the groundwork for a senior management post. The influence of education on industry. The training courses that are taken up in the schools fully or partly reflect the need and the purpose of education in the society. Some of these courses, called as apprenticeship, along with the uniform distribution of the manual labor resources and labor force with better education, comprises of the need for the vocational education in the industries. Apprenticeship. This term exists since ages. The term apprenticeship has changed totally or slightly from the Middle Ages. During those days, there existed a paternalistic relation between the trainer and the craftsmanship, which constituted the primary part of the guild system. However, in today's era, paternalism has completely disappeared, but the customs associated with still exists. Apprenticeship has been there into a form since many years. They are served for 4 to 5 years from the age of 16 or 15 as soon as you are eligible to work in any industry. During this age, a youth is on a mixed platform of doing a job as well as going back to school, for where there is no need for several examination and tests required to compete with the counterparts. It is reported that many industries train their apprentice in the best possible ways, while some lack the basic training. With the imposition go adaptability test and stringent intelligence, the apprentice is trained well, but others lack this training as their training was carried out in a workshop. The 1965 Industrial Training Act imposes on every industry training levies which make it less profitable to buy the new joiners or apprentices with higher wages as they emerge from the training directly to the inductee. In addition, there is no legal obligation on any employee to provide the apprenticeship training. There has been a lot of criticism about the apprenticeship. According to a critic Patterson, apprenticeship is described as an inadequate, makeshift, anachronistic deal or contract that develops a master-servant relation and then it turns into confusion, exploitation of the young people who step out into the world. It is reported that apprentices were rarely taught anything pertaining to work culture in an industry. Hence, the need of a proficient and skilled person has cropped in. However, it is seen that many do not have the right skills and knowledge to train the apprentice in the best possible ways. They are diverted in semi-skilled works because of several diversion and fragmentation in the industrial processes. Industries now look for semi-skilled technical apprentices, but the apprenticeship system followed supports rigid and unrealistic job functions and opportunities. There have been several researches on this topic. According to the recent study conducted by Ethel Enables on more than 2000 men over the age of 21 years, she concluded that most of the people were engaged in part-time jobs and their feelings were engendered who did not receive occasional education in their school level compared to their counterparts who were more privileged in better ways. Day release and sandwich courses. These days, sandwich courses and the day release courses are a part of the academic side of the apprenticeship. They both aim at filling the voids and gaps which are left after the job training is completed. Day release means the young employees are given a day off from the world, which is general a day or twice to attend and undertake several courses at various technical colleges. Technical, skilled and professional are the three main levels in any industrial craftsmanship. The course has a purpose which determines the duration of the course. The course duration can vary from 4 to 5 years for the technical levels, while the skilled craftsmanship courses are meant for 7 years. This helps the craftsman to become more proficient. The professional courses are imparted for a day or twice in a week, especially on the weekends. Day release is considered the most privileged courses for the young employees, especially the apprentices. In several federated firms, the day release courses start from the age of 18 years. When it comes to building ships, engineering or electrical goods, the release account up to 1/3 of the day releases. All those industries which give less day release are those which require little training for the workers or provide subsequent on the job training. Sandwich courses are often referred as layers of the full-time courses in college. It serves as an alternative to the industrial experience which can last for 6 months. These kinds of courses administer several difficulties that crop up on both educational and industrial side. When compared to day release courses, they offer better opportunities for integrating the study related to academics with the industrial practices, which is the prerequisite for any industry. There have been several studies associated with the sandwich courses which represent her importance of it. However, the strength of these courses can be extended to provide more relevant experience in both the educational and industrial aspects. Further, it will motivate and contribute to make the students more matured. Manpower and education. Until the end of World War, industries had 3 phases of developments in the technical sector. They are the unskilled manual labor, the skilled manual and the commercial person. In the recent times, with the development of science and technology, machines have taken the work of human beings, as most of the works are done by the aid of machines. Now, this unskilled manual labor includes a small amount of the labor force. The main difference between the manual and non-manual work lies in the concept of by hand or by brains, but this concept is getting more hazy and blurred these days. As we enter into a new era, the need of semi-skilled workers trained in several technical backgrounds is required. With time, the training of the workers has increased, converting them into semi-skilled technicians. Human relations qualities are needed to supervise the work and organize the workforce. There has been an increase in the demand for use of machine due to the increasing displacement and mobility of the labor force. This has greatly affected the education of the employees. So, acquiring a social technique or skill will help a person to be better in that area. This will not train him or her to adjust with the industries which are based on several diverse works. Therefore, the need for retraining of the workers has cropped up. According to some statistics, in the year 1979, about 22,000 people had to undergo a test at the official skills centers and nearly 69 people qualified for training of candidates. The linkage between the education and industry greatly is affected as the employees send their kids to some public schools. There are schemes introduced by companies to help students pay their educational fees. Apart from these, private scholarships for employees, children have made the education easy. All these are highly encouraging, but there should be development in the field of science in the country. With support from industries, there has been a prominent financial help to several education institutions to impart good quality of education. School and work. When you get out of schools, the expectation of the students can be explained using two powerful terms: expectations and aspirations that they have pertaining to the occupational world and the choice for the job. The impressions which students carry about the occupational world vary from person to person. This is greatly affected by the broad vision and conversation with people who already have stepped into the real world of occupation. At the school level, the information they perceive is ion, tits and bits. The courses in the school levels like social science and current affairs guide them in the right direction. However, sometimes they can be misleading in several directions, leading to motivation or demotivation. Subjects like the media and mass communication also directly affect the impression of the students that they have for the occupational world. Some gain knowledge from several advertisements and programs featured on televisions or newspapers. Theories of occupational choice. Researchers have given a great deal of interest to the path by which a young individual decides to pursue any occupation. Theories in the past have been developed by Ginsberg and Bloch. This review will be primarily focusing on the modern British work. Musgrave gave his theoretical structure as an approach to the conjecture of occupational choice. The main focus of this theory is socialization, which is mainly seen as learning to take responsibility. What is mainly relevant is anticipatory socialization. Transition to the subsequent stages should be easily accomplished by rehearsing the roles at various stages of socialization. A young individual will be able to choose from a limited range of occupations if he or she knows about the role prescriptions of different occupations. Musgrave's approach was criticized by Colton and her friends. They said that social behavior cannot be explained in an oversimplified theory which is based on a society which lives in harmony. Musgrave has not considered the importance of conflict and variation. He also considered that employees working on different levels will have different requirements. All his theories are based on the assumption that we are living in a society which has a fixed social order. Individuals with unusual characteristics only will change their profession according to Musgrave. Ginsberg and Super have given the finest theories related to the ingress into employment. Both the theories say that ingress into employment is a process, while Ginsberg gives prime value to an individual's increasing understanding of his self-interests and capabilities. Super's theory focuses on the social environment in which the individual is brought up, which structures his conception of capabilities and interests. Roberts doubts these theories, which propose that occupational choices grow through a progression of identifiable stages. He believes instead in an alternate theory, with the key concept being opportunity structure. Occupations can be observed as emerging patterns dictated by an opportunity which comes in the individual's life, initially in education and then consequently in employment. The individual's ambitions reflect the structures throughout which they have passed. Education is the prime factor for all the ambitious and innovative enterprises. Most of the times, entrepreneurs who are still in colleges or school who want to step into an enterprise most get frustrated by the restrictions imposed by practical applications of knowledge. Therefore, to remove these restrictions and bridge the gap that come in between the enterprise and education, the government wishes to take several actions and reform the educational process. The government has played out well to incorporate the entrepreneurship in the courses and curriculum studied at school level. Apart from these, removing restrictions for students will help them to run their own business without any problem. It is recommended that all the educational organizations should adjust well and include in the curriculum so that it becomes possible to blend the education into running a business or an enterprise further. This can be done by allowing students to run their own company while graduating. In addition to this, the financial restrictions should be combated. There are several grants for students who run a successful business. What you need to concentrate is on better education to prepare the students well for the labor market. These challenges will be simple, thorough introduction of several professional training. So, the industries have drawn up several documents that state the professional skills each graduate must possess to enter into an industrial culture. So, all the educational institutions should gear up keeping in view the demands and needs of the industry. So, the top priority should be given to the technology and science programmers. Apart from this, right frameworks should be ensured. The demand and supply of knowledge in a scientific area, bridge between the research sector and industry should be filled. The universities should have proper tie-ups with the industries to build a healthy university-industry linkage to understand the requirements of industry after a student steps out of college for job.